Hello and welcome back to another video from trainingrite.com. Today we'll be talking about how we could be using SoapUI from Eclipse. Well, to begin, we're going to start Eclipse and I'm going to be showing you how we could be using SoapUI as a plugin in Eclipse, and anything and everything which we were doing in the SoapUI, we should be able to do it in Eclipse. I'm going to walk you through how it is done. Eclipse, as you all know, is a tool which is used by Java developers, Selenium developers. If you have to write any code, you would be writing that code in Selenium, and the RC server code, or you would be writing the WebDriver code or any sort of code in Java using the Eclipse. So here, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to quickly walking you through as how we could do that. The SOAP add-in would be added by going into install new updates, and over here you could be typing in the SoapUI.org path. Now, if you happen to go to the SoapUI.org site, the Eclipse plugin details are given over here. And basically what it is we would be going and then we would be using this update. HTTP SoapUI.org Eclipse update. So that's what I'm going to be doing. SoapUI.org Eclipse update. So here we are. So HTTP www.soapui.update, and that's the one. And once you select that, what it's going to do is it is going to go ahead and then validate and see if there is anything that can be added to this to your application. Now notice that it says that check the items you wish to install. You are not seeing that. The reason for that is I've already added that. So if you have already added it, basically it is going to show you as over here, as I'm going to be showing you as in the show view. If you go into the other window over here, you would have the SoapUI. SoapUI Navigator is basically what you would be selecting if you want to mimic SoapUI in Eclipse. So once I do that, it is going to bring up my kind of like the environment. Over here, I could be going and I could be adding any sort of projects. Okay, the project which I would like to add would depend on what I intend to do. So when I right click on it, I have SoapUI project, a new one, or I could import. Well, doesn't matter. We could go ahead and then do a new SoapUI project, and in the new SoapUI project, I'm gonna go and have the WSDL. Now we as trainingrite.com provides you with tons of test web services. Our web services are hosted on our site, which is trainingrite.net. So some of the web services which are over there would be, let's see, um, okay, we can take this web service. The Trainingrite SoapUI test web services. There I have the login, logout, update user account, create user account, and create account status. Well, these are all 5 different operations in my web service. So I'm gonna go and show us how to open that in Eclipse. So this is my WSDL, and once I enter my URL of my WSDL, it is asking me, do you need to create any request? Sure. I mean, I'm just gonna go with some request, and right now it is going and connecting, and here we are. Basically what it is showing me is I got these two interfaces, these two APIs. I don't need the second one because it's nothing but I'm just going to remove that. It's a backup port. So that is going to be removed. So what I have here is this API, this training right SoapUI test web services. And if I expand that, I see some of the operations here. The operations are check account status, create user account, log in, log out, and then what. Let me just quickly take a look into this login request. So when I double click on that, as you can see, we are in Eclipse. As you can see over here, I'm in Eclipse, but the interface is going to be pretty much similar to what we were seeing in the SoapUI, the open source version. Because if you see the tabs over here, I got the raw tab and I got the XML. I do not have the other two tabs. So it gives me basically um, something which is of the SoapUI open source. All right, so over here is my request. Now let me see what kind of response I'm going to get if I enter my login. My login information is going to be my username, and I'm going to say Irfan SoapUI trainer. That's my username. Now you're gonna look into my password, which is training right. Okay, so that's my username and that's my password. And basically, what my response is going to be is if it finds out that I have if it can authenticate with this username and with that password, it is going to respond with a session ID. It's some sort of a key. So let us see if that happens. So here we are in Eclipse trying to run this. So once I do that, and lo and behold, what we have here is the response. As you can see, I have the response here. All right, so far so good. I know that okay, my web service is functional because it is coming from this path, which is trainingride.net and blah 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 blah. Okay. All right. Now, what we're going to be doing is let's see if we could go ahead and then create a test suite in here. So to create a test suite, I could just go in and then right click on it and see if it allows me to do that. And if you take a look at it, my interface here is not going to be any different from what we would be doing when we were working on our SOAP UI program. So, but I'm repeating myself, but the fact which I want to stress here is we are in Eclipse. Okay, so let us go and then do a new test suite. In the new test suite, I'm just going to call it training right test suite, training right test suite. Okay, when I do that, here is my test suite. And do I have any test in that? No, I do not have any test in that. So I could pretty much go and then create some tests in that. Depending on how you want to create your tests, you could right click on it and then say that, okay, give me a new test case. Well, okay, here is my new test case. And the new test case is going to be authentication test. Oh, well, it's a test case already. Authentication test case. All right, if I hit OK, what I will see is a bunch of things over here. I could go ahead and then create my test steps. I could do a load test. I could do a security test and all that. As a part of our course, SoapUI web service testing course from trainingride.com, we'll be covering all of these things in our training. For now, let me just quickly go ahead and show you how I'm going to be creating a post, adding a test step. This test step is going to be anything. It could be a Groovy script, which will be writing the code in Groovy. There's a lot of coding which you will be learning when we get into that SoapUI web service testing course at trainingride.com. I'll be showing you a lot of Groovy scripting. In fact, I am surprised when I see that some of the folks out there are claiming that you do not really need to write any code, the Groovy code. You just need to use the pro version of it. Guess what? That is not true. Please do not believe that. You have to have an idea of how to do how to write Groovy script, right? And that's exactly what we'll be teaching in our course. But for now, let me just quickly go ahead and then show you the test request. The test request which I'm going to be creating is will be for the login login test request. So here we go. It's going to come back and say that okay, we have so many operations there. I have an operation for login. I have an operation for create user account, check the account status, and log out and the update. Which one do you want? And I guess I want to go with the login. So now it is asking me, do you want to have any assertions there? Well, assertions are nothing but like a checkpoints, right? So you want to make sure that when by default, it is giving me this option of like checking that you will get what is called a SOAP response message, right? I mean, if you're not going to get any response message, that means that the web service is not functional at all. Now, we could go ahead and then talk about using mock services. In fact, in one of my videos, upcoming videos, I'll be showing you as how to create a mock service and all that. For now, we will go up, we will select with this assertion. We'll go ahead with this assertion that, okay, we want what is called the response of a SOAP message. Okay, what else do you want to do? We will leave everything as is. I'm going to hit OK. And as you can see, it has generated my my script over here, right? Or rather, my schema. The schema over here, which you see, is okay. It's a SOAP envelope. There's nothing in the header. There's in the body. It closed what is called the login here. Again, this is where a little bit knowledge of your XML and knowledge of your web services would come into play, and that is exactly what we're going to be teaching you right from scratch when you join our course at trainingrite.com. And but for now, I'm going to be showing you as how to run this, how to make a request. This is the request over here, right? In order for me to pass some data and expect some response, I have to prepare or I have to enter the data which I need to pass. Since this login element is getting close without any data, so I have to do some sort of improvisation here. The end of that would be and now I would be saying that okay, the login would be, let's say, login was expecting over here in the login request. In the login request, we had the username and password. So I'm going to be taking these two like that. I'm going to be taking that. And why I am doing this? Why do I need to do something like that? Well, basically what it is you have to supply the parameters. If you look into the schema on the WSDL document, if you look into what the parameters, the input parameters are, the input parameters are basically going to be the username and password. And that's basically what, where is that? In the request one, that's what we are saying that for this login operation to work, you have to provide two parameters. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to provide these two parameters, which is I'm hard coding the values in here. Again, we could do parameterization of data. We could get the data from Excel. We could get the data from a database. We could do all that good stuff over here. For now, I just want to quickly show you as how this is going to return you some response. Okay. Remember, we already have an assertion that it has to respond with a SOAP message. So let us see how it is going to work. Now, either I could run this request just as is, or let's say if there were more than one steps over here, I would have gone up to my test case and executed that. Right now, my test steps are only one. If I had more than one, that would have gotten executed here. So let me just go ahead and then execute that. Right? It is a pass. It is a pass. So that means that, okay, it did return. So how do you check that it did return? Let's go here and let's check it out. So here is my username and password. And let's see if in the response, if I get the session key. And here is my response. This is the response. That means that it had returned me the result. The result is a session key, which I was expecting. Well, so that's what we are doing here in the Eclipse. All right. What else can I do? Can I add some more test steps? Absolutely. We could just go ahead and then add as many test steps as you want. when you right click on it and say add test steps, notice that you have what is called a JDBC request, right? JDBC request, you could go and then connect to a database. Now, I'm not going to be showing you the complete portion of it, otherwise you will not be coming back to my course. I do want you to come back and attend our course, but I'll just give you a quick idea of how it is done. This is the JDBC request, meaning that you are connecting to a database, right? So what kind of database? It doesn't matter. It could be an Oracle database. It could be a SQL Server database. It could be a MySQL database, depending on what kind of drivers you will configure. So right now, I will just say SQL JDBC request, right? So when I do that, as you can see here, it is telling me to configure. This is the configuration. This is the driver configuration. This is the configuration string. And then you could test your connection. And then if you have to write your query, the query would get written here, or you could select a stored procedure. Well, so it's not going to be too difficult. It's very easy stuff, but you just need to know how it needs to be done. And that's what you would be learning once we get into our course. So over here, this is how you're going to be submitting your request to the specified database. Here, you could be going and then adding if you need to add any properties. Let's say if you're passing the data, the parameters and all that to the query, they can get passed through the properties. So all that is what we're going to be covering in our course. So if you like what you're seeing here, we request you to go ahead, take a look into the course details from our website, which is trainingrite.com. And basically, we have done about one or two classes in this year, and there was a huge mad rush for this course. As you can see in our January 20th batch, it's a huge hit. There's a lot of people who have joined this course from different parts of the world. People as far as from Australia, from New Zealand, England, they have been taking this course. The only reason for that is we have been covering a lot of Groovy scripting, and Groovy scripting is extremely important. What we're talking about is if you go and take a look into the site over here, they're talking about different things which you could be doing, and in over here, the scripting is very important. How do you script? How do you write? All that code, and basically that's what is done by going into what is called the Groovy script. I'm not gonna be covering that in this video, but then down the road we will be doing some other videos where I'll be showing you some snippets of how you could be writing Groovy code. Well, for now, that's about it. Thank you so much for being here and then watching this video. We hope to see you back on another video. Better yet, if you can become a student of our web service testing courses at trainingrite.com. If you need any clarifications, if you have any questions, you could call us. If you are in the United States, give us a call at 732-998-6650. Or if you're any part of the world, you could just write to us by email, sales@trainingrite.com. That is sales@trainingrite.com. And thank you so much. And we hope to see you back soon in another video. Take care.